It's Crowbar right here on your classic metal show. Music that's slow and fat.
As MOL put it, fat power.
Right. It's music for fat guys.
Right, that's the fat man's anthem.
Right. I'll never forget that back in the 90s when Beavis and Butthead were running first time on MTV.
Sure.
And they were critiquing one of those Crowbar songs. I think it was just like, I gave my heart and soul to you. Whatever song that was.
Right.
And he goes, wow, that must have been like 30 pounds of meat. Because I like Crowbar because their music is slow and fat.
Too funny.
God damn. What happened to the next season of Beavis? The first season went over well over a year ago.
I don't know. They're holding it up.
Because he was supposed to have like a 3-year contract with MTV to produce more Beavis.
Maybe they don't have anything to pick on because those shows are so quality on MTV.
Well, they did a good job at ripping on Jersey Shore and all those other Teenage Pregnant Mom or whatever the hell that was.
16 and Pregnant or whatever.
Yeah.
4 and Pregnant.
I was waiting for the new Beavis episodes.
I'm sure they'll be there eventually.
I know, but it's been a long time.
Nathan in Kentucky, if Harry Chapin was still alive, he'd be working the overnight shift at the Circle K in Lima, Ohio. God damn.
Harry. Circle K.
Yeah.
I went through Lima not long ago, back in June.
Sorry to hear that.
It's still a dump.
You've been there more recently than me.
I drove through on my way to Columbus when I went to hang out with the lovely V.
Okay.
And I was just like, and I drove past where I used to live, and I drove past the school I went to, and I was like, this place is still a dump.
Should have told me. I would have told you where Steph's address was. You could have stopped by.
Sure.
Had a little visit.
Yeah. It's just like, ugh. And that Lima Mall.
Yeah, that's fucking terrible.
I used to work there, and I hadn't been there in 20 years.
Right.
And I can't believe how run down it is. I mean, it's just like, man.
Why, did you see the rest of the place?
I just drove through for nostalgic purposes, because I lived there for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I got married there.
And you looked at that mall and you said, yeah, this is what my marriage could have been.
Yeah.
A rundown old fucking shitstorm.
I thought, I used to work there. That's where I worked at the Camelot Music.
Did you meet your wife there?
No, I met her when I used to run a lot. I used to jog. Okay. And after work and school, I used to run, and I basically just met her. She was sitting at a park.
Okay.
And that's where I met her.
All right.
So it's just, it's just bizarre. I
kept on running.
Yeah, I should have.
Should have kept right the fuck on running.
Believe me.
So paint the picture here. So you run up and you see this chick. Do you stop? And you're like, she looks hot.
Well, she was a nice looking girl.
So did you stop or did she stop you?
No, I stopped.
And you were like, hey, baby. It's me, Wendell.
Well, I didn't quite say, hey, baby. I used to take a route and I used to run, and she was just hanging out there, just sitting there on the swings or whatever as I was running by, and as I came back, she was still sitting there, and so I stopped and just started conversation with her, and she just like, do you run through here every night, and that kind of stuff. And
so then she was there every night? Yeah,
pretty much. She just was like, I just kind of hang out here, or I like to just come out here, and it was in the summer.
Let's do the dateline. How many times did you run past her before you asked her out?
Well, I didn't run.
How many times did you see her, more or less, before you asked her out?
Maybe twice.
Twice. Mm-hmm. How many times before you actually went out?
Probably that next week.
Okay, so within a week, you went out. How many times did you go out before you banged her?
I didn't bang her until I married her.
What?
Seriously.
And how long was that?
A year.
A year?
Yep.
And dude, do you fucking buy cars without driving them?
Dude, listen, this is how I was raised.
Good Lord.
I was only 20, dude. I was 20 years old.
I guess, man, but oof. It's like seeing a house on the outside and saying, yeah, I'll take it.
Well, I was brought up in a very, very conservative household, and so was she. She was in a very conservative household, and she still lived at home, and
right.
It was just that just was the way it was.
In hindsight, do you wish you would have tried it first?
And it wasn't about the sex, dude. It was about more or less the not realizing that there was something wrong there.
Okay.
Just in personality in general.
When you were dating, you didn't realize that?
No, because she kept it hidden.
Oh, wow.
Now, see, my mother and my sisters warned me,
right,
and told me that she was like this, or she said this, or she acted this way, or she was like this, and she never displayed any of those things in front of me.
Wow.
So she kept it hidden pretty well.
Good Lord.
Yep.
And then how long? Okay, well, let's play this out. How long after you got married did you start realizing that you'd married somebody different than you thought?
By December.
And when did you get married? What was the
August?
Month? So 5 months?
Yeah, 5 months.
So within 5 months, you knew that you'd fucked up big time.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
But you still stayed for 2.5 more years?
Well, that's the other thing. It's
yeah,
just that...
Look, nobody gets to argue that. Anybody can argue that before I can. I'm just curious.
Yeah. You let me, to use a cliche, you made your bed, you lie in it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did she buy you a gun rack? She tried to use your mouth as a gun rack, didn't she?
No, she did threaten me with a knife, though. I did wake up with her standing over top of me with a butcher knife.
Oh, good Lord.
Yep.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So bad.
It was bad.
Well, at least you got out of it pretty much scot-free.
Yeah, I would admit it cost me $5,000 in a new car.
Oh, that's not so terrible. I mean, it's worse than I did, though. Oh, no, it's not. Who are we kidding? No, it's not.
Although she did get knocked up by a Mexican gardener, and then she tried to blackmail me by telling me that this, because she kept my last name after we got divorced.
Okay.
She wouldn't take her maiden name back.
All right.
Which is what I asked her to do, but for some reason she refused. I could never grasp that.
Right.
It's just like, why don't you restore your maiden name? And she wanted to keep my last name, which sure. I just didn't understand that. I didn't get it.
My ex still has mine.
And she got knocked up about a year later within, well, let's see. Our divorce was final in September, and she got knocked up by December.
Oh, boy.
And then the baby wasn't due till the end of, August.
Okay.
So she had moved back to Ohio from California.
Okay.
And then she sent me a letter threatening to, quote, unquote, this baby was going to be born with my last name.
Okay, so what?
So fork over some money, and I'll make the arrangements to make sure that doesn't happen.
Why would that matter to you if it did happen?
Well, because I was trying to tell her I didn't want this bastard child being named with my last name.
So you did have a problem with
it. I had a problem with it, yeah.
Oh. See, I'd have been like, whatever.
Well, but I did. I let it. I didn't respond or act on it. I was just like, well, In
today's world, you wouldn't even have fucking acknowledged it.
No, not today. But when you're only 23 or 24 years old.
Everything's more important than it is.
Of course.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, there we go.
Yeah. So, when the book comes out, you'll get to read all the sordid details.
I can't wait. I can't wait to write this book.
I'm telling you, I got some really ugly stories.
I cannot wait to write this book.
Yeah. Well, look at Nathan from Kentucky. This sounds like a Harry Chapin song. Seriously.
I was married for 3 years.
Yeah.
Then she turned out to be a bitch.
Yeah, seriously.
Beautiful liar.
Yeah, but
Why the hell you haunt me?
but see, I got divorced at 23, and I'm gonna be 50 on Christmas.
Right.
So that's been 27 years.
It was 27 years ago.
But she's been married 3 more times since.
She's got to try him out.
Well, my point is, I wonder who the problem was there.
Clearly you.
Yes, of course, it was me.
You fucked her up so bad she can't have a good relationship now.
Sure.
I'm sure that's what she tells herself.
Of course. Gee, I wonder who the problem is there.
Right.
Serial marrier.
It's so I was talking to this one.
Wait a minute. Psycho postman, that would be 4 times the charm. Because she married me and she's been married 3 times since, so that would be 4 times the charm.
Yeah, my ex before my ex-wife.
Yeah, the one from Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a 4-time loser, plus me. 4-time married, 4 marriages, and me in an engagement. Yeah. Somehow I think I made the right choice on her. Really, literally, I didn't have much choice. I fucking walked in on her fucking another dude.
Well, you told that story.
That choice was sort of made for me.
Right?
But no. Dude, so a couple weeks ago I was talking to a girl that reached out to me online. Okay, and we were talking back and forth, and you know the intro talk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how many kids you got, what do you do, whatever. How many times have you been married is one of those questions. And she said, "Well, I've tried the marriage thing 4 times."
I've tried the marriage thing. I've
tried the marriage thing,
that's like
but I'm over it now.
Well, I've dabbled in witchcraft now and again.
But I'm over it now. That's literally what she said. She said, "I've tried the marriage thing 4 times, but I'm over it now." My answer, well, you know what? Thanks for reaching out to me.
Right. I tried it.
Yeah. You know what? I try to avoid people that have tried the marriage thing 4 times.
Sure. 4 times.
I'll give you 1 failed one. After that, starting to question your decision making.
Right.
Just a thought.
Sure. Psycho postman. Raised the same way, Neeley. No shame in that, sneaky bitch. Wow. Was she an inspiration for desperate housewives? Well, that there's an old joke my dad used to really laugh about. He thought it was funny. But this guy sits next to this attractive woman on the plane.
Okay.
And they start having this chit-chat as they're flying to their destination.
Sure.
And she says to him, "You remind me of my 4th husband."
Okay.
And he says, "How many times have you been married?" And she said, 3.
Great.
He used to love that joke.
Good Lord.